Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of Spartan Crew Gaming, and today we're talking about Middle-earth, Shadow of War. Once again, let's jump into it. So today we are talking about capture points, and in the title, it's going to probably say capture point issue or problem or whatever, but basically, a big guy on the forums made an entire thread, and it got pretty big, like 81 replies, and he made a really cool diagram and everything. And basically he talks over the points, the capture points, and basically that's kind of the basis for my video. Of course, I'll add some of my own little things I would like to see in the capture points, but basically he was saying I would like to see something akin to the original gameplay reveals, structure of how we take over a fort, like in zones and such. So in the gameplay reveals we see at E3, your orcs can go on ahead to the second point and start capturing it for you and doing other things and everything while you're still capturing the first point. And basically it's a mosh pit. There's a bunch of fighting. There's always a bunch of captains at each point, and they it's just kind of a mosh pit. The captains address you here and there, kind of like they did in Shadow of Mordor. And it's very, very hectic. And I mean, of course, the addressing of captains is better. There's cooler guys, and the graphics look great, and there's a lot more going on. It's really cool, but it's also really chaotic. Now, for me, I wasn't like overly like, okay, it's just you're taking over the fortress. But if you think about it, it is kind of confusing and chaotic. So basically, he was saying you split up the fortress into zones. The first zone, of course, to get the capture point, maybe you kill the siege beasts on the wall, or kill the gatekeeper, which is like a war chief or a captain. Or you can kill like a number of orcs. Like in the original game, when you had to draw out a war chief, it'd say kill 20 of his followers. Maybe you have to kill 20 orcs, and then the capture point unlocks, or you take it, and then you can go on to the next point. And then, of course, you have more objectives there, and each point would have like a different amount of orcs. Like maybe the first capture point has less captains and more siege beasts and more grunts, while the second capture point maybe has more captains and more archers and stuff. And then, of course, the last capture point having the war chief. I think there was 3 capture points, I can't remember, but right before you go into the warlord room basically stays the same, but basically there's more to do. There's more objective based things, so each zone is unlocked by completing an objective, and that is really awesome. But what I would like to see, of course, is more war chiefs addressing you at the gates. Now maybe the reason we haven't seen this as much is because we haven't made any connections, any stories, any Nemesis history with the orcs in any of those E3 demos. Those were all, generated. They would, generate a save, boom, there's your orcs. You don't have a history with them. So maybe that's why we haven't seen any of that stuff. But again, back to the first gameplay reveal, the war chiefs would address you at the gate. Stormbringer was like, hey, I left your army. I'm mad at you. I want to, take you down. Cool, that was awesome. But the next guy, he's like, oh, you killed Stormbringer, I'm gonna burn you guys. It'd be really cool if we just saw a little bit of the war chiefs addressing us at each gate, especially if it's a war chief we know. And that still might happen, I don't know. I think it probably should, but you don't quote me on that. But I do think that's still gonna happen once we have more orcs we know through the gameplay. And of course, we're gonna be doing that by playing the game, and we just haven't seen that in any of the E3 demos because they are, generated saves. But I think no matter what, we should hopefully have a war chief saying, hey, you're not going to get past this point, whether we know him or not. And I think it would really make it feel more important and more special. Just like, imagine you have this objective to take down in your sector, but before you take it down, that guy's like, hey, you're not going to get past it. And of course, if it's an orc that knows you, that's even more personal. Or if it's a blood brother to another orc, it's even, more amazing. It's really cool. So I'd love to see some more cinematic stuff happen and more zones, because that has how the first gameplay reveal was. You first killed the guy at the gate, unlocked the point, then you went to the second one, the guy kind of gave his little speech, dropped the oil on you, you got past that one, you fought in front of the keep for a while, and then you went into the fortress. So I definitely think that there is a need to fix the problems, and I kind of understand why people want that, and personally I think that sounds awesome. I hope they add some war chief speeches, because personally, as I think the developers could easily, I don't know, I can't say easily, I'm not a computer genius, and I don't want to come off wrong, but I do think that they could definitely code in the ability for an orc to address you in a cool cinematic way with the camera movements at a certain point and checkpoint in these areas. So I definitely hope they can improve this. There is 86 days before this game releases, and the reason I wanted to make this video so you guys can tell me what you think, and hopefully, if it gets big enough and stuff, or it gets a decent amount of views, maybe the developers will see it too, And, you know, they've already seen the forum thing and the thread about that, and they've already, like, actually replied to it, so they definitely know what the community wants. But I wanted just to bring it to you guys and tell me what you think. What do you want to see from the capture points in the game? I still think this game is turning out great, but I did want to talk about the capture points. A big shout out to the forums, because basically that is where I got this idea from, and yeah, half of it's not even mine, basically the Warp Tree suggesting you, which was already in the game. So basically, having those objectives to unlock and everything was thanks to this guy in the forums. His name's Invictus, I think. I don't know what that means, but nonetheless, really cool, great forum post. I would suggest to go read it, but I thought it was a great idea and worth making a video about. So guys, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you're having a great week and enjoying enjoying life and everything. Comic-Con is just around the corner, and I'll be making more Shadow of War content when that comes around, because they'll be showing us brand new footage. Nonetheless, the devs are listening, don't think they aren't, and hopefully the game's going to turn out amazing. We have 86 days, or 85 days, until this game releases as of the recording, and I cannot wait, guys. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.